Hello, Shad here again. I'll get right to it. Lady Gilda managed to step away from the necromantic energy below the gauntlet, thankfully. As the battle subsided, we finally had a moment to take in the damage done. Augrael's bloodlust was especially unexpected, but such may be the way of ghouls. He still seems to be on our side, and content to eat and read to his heart's content. I myself spotted a secret door leading to a room like the teleportation circles previously discovered by my comrades. And Augrael helps us to translate several signs outside of various doors. Aiming to enter one labeled Workroom, I'm afraid the lock was beyond my skill and the integrity of my tools was damaged. But with a bit of might, Lady Gilda was able to force her way through. We discovered a room filled with bookbinding tools and supplies, a skeleton slumped on the floor, and an apparition to match. The ghost pantomimed her work within the room, but Tulak attempted to trick her into conversation. He was quickly instructed to depart. Searching another room labeled Repair Storage, we found some useful items, and among them what we may have needed to aid in our previous failure: a scroll of repair. Tulak returned to the ghost, and using the magic of the scroll aided in her impossible mission, spending hours repairing books. The ghost was put to rest, thanking Tulak and calling him a creature of merit. Tulak discovers more of the life of this mysterious ghost, and gathers an odd set of fabric along with a letter and pattern for reconstruction. The rest of us spent our time understanding the layout of the library, before heading back to Otari for some recuperation. I'll surely welcome a warm bowl of chowder at the Crook's Nook.
So I have this sort of fascination, if you will, regarding like memory. And I don't know much. I'm not well educated on how memory does and does not work. But I just think it's so cool to think about how much it just exists in our lives and without thinking. In particular, what I want to mention is muscle memory. I think muscle memory is like one of the most fascinating, like taken for granted sorts of things. Now, I know some of you, Duncan, I know for sure, James probably very much so. I don't know about you, Scott, but one of the biggest examples of muscle memory is like playing music, learning an instrument in particular.
Oh, yeah.
It just fascinates me how much you can know without thinking about it, just through, like some study, certainly, and then some repetition, actually a lot of repetition. And then how long that can stick with you. Because like putting something in muscle memory is generally a very long-term type of memory. And the reason this popped into my head is because I suddenly heard the song The Boxer by Simon and Garfunkel the other day, and I hadn't thought about that song for a very long time. But then I realized, oh man, I used to play that song a lot. I used to play a cover of it on my accordion. And I went over and picked up my accordion and nearly without any errors played the whole song through. Lyrics, chords, all of it. Not all the little fills that I had when I was first doing the cover, but I barely had to stop and think about where to go next. And it probably had been years since I played it. And I just like, that is so cool. I just think it's the coolest thing. So I was wondering what things you guys have in your life that you can think of that are really prominent when it comes to muscle memory. What do you have memorized in your muscles, your motor skills?
I don't have an answer to this yet. I'm just going to step in for one quick second. Was this just entirely a humble brag that you based your entire intro banter around? Just so you could get that out there? Because we know you were alone in your apartment when you did it, and you're just like, I wish someone knew about this.
So we all now know who can't play an instrument in the group. Scott.
Facts.
No, that was not my intention, although I can see why that would come across that way. It's a hard humble brag, though, because it's hard to brag about playing the accordion. Most people are like, wow, you can play the accordion? That's pretty cool. And you pull it out and they go, okay, yeah, I'm good. Don't play much more. So...
Without wanting to break the facade of always wanting to shit on you, Freeman, you're pretty good at the accordion. I'll give you that.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, quite good. There's no doubts about that.
After the guys that play at the local German restaurant that I really like to go to, you're the next best I've ever seen.
You've never even seen me play it, have you?
You've been on. I've seen you on camera.
Oh, okay, on camera. That's not the same. But yeah, is there anything else in your lives, guys? I'm like super curious because I got my brain going so much. I had a busy brain day. I just been thinking about all these weird things, and I was just thinking about like, oh, when you change your keyboard at your computer, like it's hard. You have an adjustment period because your muscle memory is messed up. Or if you're switching between your desktop and your laptop, like it blows my mind how much that affects our daily lives.
Yeah, I'd start with the musical experience that I had, which I was like a piano player my entire life. So even now, I don't do it formally that much, but sitting down and just like kind of remembering the sound of the song, and then your hands are just like, oh, that's how it sounds. Like, what the hell? Okay, I guess my muscles know things my brain doesn't. But that kind of translates to like so many manual activities that you do, like working in a kitchen or something. Like, because when you're first starting with something, it becomes so like daunting, and then it's just like almost a meditative act, which is what I consider piano right now. Like, once you get comfortable enough with it, you just let your muscles go. So that, and yeah, same thing with what I'm doing right now, like throwing a screwdriver at some screws and breaking apart electronics and stuff. Once you do it enough times and put them back together, it's just it's more letting your hands do their thing and letting your brain go on its own.
Just becomes second nature. Yeah. James, do you have anything?
Yeah, so I'm gonna sound worse than Freeman. I have quite a lot of things like that. So one of the things
this is gonna be an arrogant brag, isn't it? Not
probably,
a
yeah. One of the things I've tried to do is like, I discovered the flow state really late in life, but it's always kind of been like a concept that I've been able to get into and out of, but like actually having a word for it and being able to activate it is something that's just happened to me in the last couple of years. And I think muscle memory has a lot to do with that.
Okay, explain flow state. Yeah, I don't know what you mean.
Oh, okay. So the flow state is whenever you it's when you're in the zone. Zone is the flow state, but you can
I call that deep in the juju.
Yeah, sure. Whatever your name for it is, but you can train yourself to activate it. So like when I'm doing any writing for Dungeons and Dragons or any writing whatsoever, I have a specific playlist that I put on that helps me trigger into that mindset and just, you lose yourself for hours and you do some of your best work and you're not even really thinking about it. And that's what the flow state is. And I find for me, that's a lot of that is helped along by muscle memory, like you said, your keyboard. But for the listeners who don't know, I was a chef for borderline 19 years, I think. Right up until last year, I worked in kitchens. So I have a lot of things that I can do without thinking about it. I don't even have to look at an onion when I'm dicing it or julienning it. Like prepping vegetables is borderline second nature, if not gone. Like when you peel 15 cases of asparagus in one sitting, you never have to think about peeling asparagus again.
Yeah.
And it's always neat to be able to go back to it. So there's a lot of menial tasks in the kitchen like that I can do. In my youth, I was a member of the Scouts and the Air Cadets. So sewing and polishing my shoes do for me as well. Like I find polishing my shoes and making my bed and like sewing very meditative. music as well. I was in a lot of bands growing up, so I was a bass player. So
Mhm.
even now, I don't play very often, but I can still pick up a guitar and play, a few songs here and there. Even the bass, I have one hanging above me, and I pick it up maybe twice a year, but I can still play a lot of what I used to play as a youth.
Mm.
And there are some video games too.
Yeah,
like
Video
Mario
games.
Brothers,
That's a big
the
one.
original
Yeah.
Super Mario Brothers for
Yeah.
NES. I could probably play the first 3 levels of that blindfolded just by the music
Yeah.
cues alone.
Yeah. I mean, that's a really interesting thing. I think it was not that long ago. I was listening to an episode of Imaginary Worlds. I think it was Imaginary Worlds, where that podcast that they were covering blind gaming, blind gamers, and the sound design and engineering and development in video games, and how they can actually play and beat games based on how well that sound is designed. And it's extraordinary. It's such a fascinating concept, and they basically have trial and error their way through it, but like they can count steps before falling off the roof of said building and whatnot, and as long as the sound changes, they know what kind of different terrain they're on, and it's really, really fascinating. And then combine that with the muscle memory of like which figure to use on which button on which controller, and which control design is implemented, and how much you can like just adapt cross-platform. You can just be like, I know I'm playing this game, so I know it's this button, and then even though it's jump on this one, it's jump on a different one, but because you're playing the game, you just automatically register it. It's fascinating. It's just I can't get enough of it.
Yeah. So I have a lot of things like that in my life, but I also actively work towards things like that. One of the best pieces of advice I ever got as a kid was, if you don't like doing something, find something you love about it and focus on that while you're doing it. And that was one of the first things my dad told me when I bitched about polishing my boots for Air Cadets is I don't like doing this. He's like, well, find something you like about it. It's like, well, I like how I feel when it's done. He's like, okay, that's when you're polishing your boots, that's what you're doing. Like, focus on the feeling of pride at the end of the task.
The music one's like so big for me, and I've talked to so many people about, they're like, oh, it's just like I have a ukulele or I have a guitar at home, but I've never really been able to like get it down. And I always say, like, repetition is your biggest thing. You have to be able to do it over and over and over and over. You have to do the most rudimentary, boring bullshit forever until you don't have to think about it anymore, and then you can move on to the next step that's actually interesting. And so I've always told people, like, not dissimilar, but not the same as what you just said. But it's like, I would be like, okay, I would watch a TV show and just play the same thing, and do a transition, like just like go from the D chord to an A chord, and D chord to an A chord. But watch TV show while you do it, and do that over and over until you are not thinking about it anymore, and then move on to a different transition, and then another one. But keep your mind busy on something else, and then suddenly you'll form the muscle memory, and now you're the next step forward.
Oh, for sure. And it's like the incremental progress is so much more important than making any big steps. It's just like, as long as you keep at it and do a little something very regularly, that means so much more than doing a lot of something one day and then falling off the next.
Yeah.
And you can actually get to another step beyond that, where I'm at the point now where there's a specific jazz and blues scale on the bass. It's like a walking scale. And when I play it, it actually helps me flush out ideas. So when I'm having a hard time flushing out a concept sober, I'll just lean back in my chair, pick up the bass, and pluck, because I have a hard time being idle. I'm sure our listeners can tell that by how animated my hands are, and I'm always doing something because I don't like stopping. Unless I decide to stop. Like this afternoon, I stopped and I sat on the couch for a half hour and I listened to a radio show. But that act of the repetition helps me flesh out concepts. It's why some of our best ideas come to us in the shower, because we're able to let our mind wander.
Right.
And having something in my life like that scale that can help trigger that mind wandering, or like this playlist that helps me get into the flow state, like having and identifying these triggers really help me with my creative process.
Yeah, cool. I imagine Scott has nailed down the exact muscle position for leaning on his shovel. Like he's probably aced it.
He's probably got a divot in his arm there.
I'm just like, wow, yeah, how am I going to follow up this conversation? I can't play an instrument for shit. I've tried. Because I can't keep time in my head. But you know what? I guess I was thinking of things.
That's the entire purpose of the drummers, to keep time.
Yeah, but I don't have one of those in my room. Not to make excuses. I know there's metronomes and I know there's all this shit. It's really because I'm fucking lazy. Let's be honest here.
Gotcha.
But
How about Scott knows the perfect way without looking or thinking to get all the meat off a chicken bone or a chicken wing. Sorry.
I can destroy some wings better than most. But I think for me, it's like skating, rollerblading, and skiing. I'm not necessarily good at any of them, but like those activities and that kind of footwork that's involved in that, I can go years without skiing, and by my second run, I'll be kind of not as good as I was, but like I'll be back to taking blue runs and then easier black diamonds, and then throughout the season I'll get better and better towards how I used to be. But I can go years without doing it, and then toss a pair of skates back on, and I'll be back.
Pick up that basic amount all over again. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Oh, it's riding a bike.
Yeah, riding a bike. Riding a bike's one of those big ones. Yeah. But anyway, this is a much longer intro banner than usual. I'm glad you guys were all pretty happy with that subject. But the only other thing I want to touch on, which is reasonably related to why we're all here, is what Duncan's about incrementalism of learning something. Like we've had to learn this system incrementally. Like we all did our studying and reading and stuff, but there's a certain point where you got to put it into action and practice, and then you learn and correct mistakes as you go. And I think we've got a much better handle on this game than we ever did before, which is pretty fun. That's not much of a segue, but
Well, I bet that ghoul tattooing the piece of cloth had to spend years practicing and getting down to muscle memory to get that ink in the right spot, to fill the needle the right way.
Yep.
To stretch the skin the right way. Like that's a real practice skill.
you're not wrong at all. I mean, it's a fairly loosey-goosey segue, but I'll take it.
Yeah, and I hope that Tulok's muscles remember to run away from this ghoul.
Ooh, there it is.
There it is.
Oh, what a roller coaster of almost a good segue back to our regular schlock.
Yeah, anyways, I'll show myself out after
Yeah,
that one.
reminder to all the listeners, we are still in combat. Said tattoo guy has gone down like a sack of wet potatoes. And suddenly a door opens next to Tulok in this very narrow hallway, and a ghoul lunges at him. And is going to do so, trying to bite him in the old neck. And it's going to lunge at you, Tulok, for a sweet, sweet 12 to hit.
That is a miss.
Okay, he tripped over that little, like, coily thing that holds the door from the wall. Yeah, can't quite get it. That brings us to the bottom of round 4 for Physic. Physic's the other end of this narrow hallway to the east of Tulok. Sorry, to the west of Tulok. If you want to target that ghoul, it's going to have soft cover.
Yeah, it would seem that it would. That's the same kind of ghoul that we've encountered previously, yeah.
Correct.
Gross. And just for a quick refresher, how's everybody doing for health besides Shad? Shad's not looking good.
I think Lady Gilda's middling, but everyone else is all right.
Yeah, I'm 2/3 of the way up.
We're both stuck in the room, so.
Okay. Physic would like to draw his alchemical crossbow and load it with a shining bolt.
Okay. You did not have it out? I don't remember. Oh, you're loading with the special ammunition. Oh, I forgot you had those. So draw, load, and fire?
You'd think that would be the third action, and you would be right.
Draw, load, run away?
How's a 24 to hit from lesser cover?
Yeah, that'll hit.
That will be 3 points of piercing damage.
Okay. And what do these shiny bolts do again?
Sheds off light in a 20-foot radius.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha. Sweet. So they are magical and they create light where you go. Okay, neat. All right, well, skewered, and he's a light for now. That's your turn.
That's a turn.
Tulok, it's your time to react.
All right, Tulok being startled by this door being flung open and this ghoul behind it, he will move 10 feet to the west, to right beside Physic, away from this creature. He turns to it and, with a cold look in his eyes, says, "You best close the door before you die like the rest of your friends," and will attempt to intimidate for a demoralize.
Okay.
All right, so that is a 21 against your will DC.
That will succeed.
You are frightened 1, my friend.
Oh.
And then with his third action, he will continue allowing the Festrog to live.
Oh, baby. And the Festrog can act now, can it not?
Yes. And Festrog, seeing through the doorways that this creature has appeared and is looking at Tulok, will move out of the room and in front of this thing and attack it with his jaws. That is going to be a 25 to hit.
Oh.
With the frightened condition, that is a critical success.
Nice. Get him.
All right, critical. That is an 18 to hit. Oh wait,
And
that is 18 points of damage.
And it die. It die.
Oh.
It destroyed. That's a huge hit.
That was massive.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go, Festrog.
And so I'm dead, but in comes another ghoul who gets right up in the Festrog's business.
Bring it on, baby. I got creatures fighting for me here. I don't even need to be there.
And it's going to, let's see here, attack with its jaws for a 14 hit,
That is a miss.
and then with its claw for a 19 to hit.
That is a hit.
Okay, so the Festrog's going to take 4 slashing damage, and it would appear the Festrog is immune to paralyze, so no additional effect.
Yo!
It's now going to be Augrail's turn, who is, I think, just going to really terrifyingly loop around Lady Gilda and just get to the tattooist, and he just starts feasting on its body. And that brings us to Shad. Who's controlling Shad this week?
I will be taking care of Shad this week.
Okay.
I had something, but the Festrog's kind of in the way, so Shad
so-
will delay.
Shad will delay. Lady Gilda.
Gilda, I think, is also going to delay.
Okay. Physic.
Didn't expect that.
Yeah.
The hallway's too tight, my dex is shit, and
Yep.
Shad
Yeah.
is too far down to make a go of it. So
Hey, makes sense.
let's
to me.
just let the Festrog do his business.
Yeah, we pretty much got a fodder corpse up there that we can let absorb some claws and teeth and whatnot.
Basically.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as you've got bolts, you get nothing to lose from firing.
It would be between 2 people at this point, so that would be...
It doesn't stack, though.
Okay, action 1, reload the crossbow with, in this case, normal bolts. Action 2, apply a lesser alchemist's fire to my alchemical crossbow. Action 3, take a shot.
Okay.
How's a nice solid 14 to hit?
That's a miss.
That is a waste of a turn. All right.
It's okay. Tulok.
Shad is actually going to act.
Oh, okay.
Shad.
Shad's coming in.
Do we have a snare book for Shad, or does he just know what he has in his inventory?
I think I listed it somewhere in his inventory. I think he just has what's in his inventory. He knows what the formula is for what's there, for sure.
Okay. He will first action draw his crossbow, his hand crossbow. Second action reload, and third action, as stealthily as he possibly can, close the door.
Okay, he's closing the door with Lady Gilda and Augrail inside. Okay.
Yeah, his thought process is if you guys can kite them out of this hallway, we can flank them.
You can flank. All right. It's a good call. But do Tulok and Physic pick up on it? Tulok, what do you got?
Like Shad winks at Tulok as he's closing the door.
This is no time to be hitting on me.
All right, Tulok, appreciating that, will pass Physic, moving again west. So he's back into the main hallway of the library here. So that's first action. Second action, he will continue to sustain. And third action, he will again try to intimidate. So he's looking down the hall at this second ghoul that came, and just with both milky white eyes says, "Are you sure you'd like to come out here and die with your friends? Are you sure that's a good choice for you?" And we'll roll intimidate. 24.
That's a success. Not a crit, though. Not far, though. Not far off.
All right. And then Festrog, is just getting in there again with a Jaws attack, but he misses this time with a 12 and kind of gnashes over the ghoul's shoulder as he moves. And I guess, like, here's the thing is, does Festrog pick up on this? Because I didn't give him any commands.
I mean, when you sustain the spell, that's when you command him. So you can tell him to attack and then move. You get 2 actions, right?
Yes.
You're controlling him magically. You've kind of animated. I don't think you have. I don't even know if you'd have to give him a verbal command per se.
All right, well, I'll take that. And he slides back 10 feet into the position previously occupied by Tulok after missing.
All right. And that takes us to the ghoul again, who's now going to run after the Festrog and just repeat its bullshit here. Jaws attack to start, 15 to hit.
Yeah, that is a meat to beat.
Okay, 15 hits, and it's going to be 2 piercing damage as it bites a chunk out of the Festrog. And that's it. Also immune to disease, of course. It is Augrael's turn, who's just going to continue feasting. And another ghoul comes out of the room, now next to the closed door that Shad had closed off. And it's kind of at a bit of a loss here. I think it's going to waste its turn, to be honest. Because it was in the room and it didn't really see what was happening with the door here, so it just assumes all the enemies are ahead. It's going to bring us to Lady Gilda.
Gilda is going to step in the space of this corpse with her first action. Second action, to open the door. And third action, she's just going to punch this fucking ghoul in the mouth. That is a 22 to hit.
That's it.
Ooh, spitting chiclets.
Nice reference.
That is 10 points of bludgeoning damage. And this... Did we update Foundry?
It might have been updated, yeah.
Okay. And 5 points of radiant damage.
Okay, so 15 total. Very nice. That's a big ol' hit.
Unless it's weak to positive, in which case it's 20.
You have no indication to think that it is.
Yeah.
That's a step up, open, and punch. Physic, you're up.
Oh, Physic. Seeing a pile of shambling corpses and ghouls coming down the hallway at him, he's going to reload his crossbow with a bolt, still having the alchemist fire applied to it. Shoot at the nearest ghoul through lesser cover for a 22 to hit.
That's a hit.
Okay, that'll be 3 piercing damage.
Okay.
And 4 fire damage.
Nice.
And then he will run away like a coward. So take a stride just around the corner to the northwest of where he is.
All right, Shad is up.
Shad is going to stride on top of this table to the position formerly occupied by Lady Gilda. He is then going to aim his hand crossbow down over Gilda's head to the ghoul in the doorway and strike. That is a 23 to hit.
That hits.
That is 5 points of piercing damage.
Dead.
And then with his third action, he's going to reload.
Cool. Top of round 7. Tulok.
All right, Tulok will reach up to the wall and pull out a piece of rubble and telekinetic projectile smash it down on the ghoul's dome. And that is going to be a 14 to hit.
Yes.
But we'll also sustain, and the Festrog is going to attack again. And that is going to be a natural 1 to hit.
Oh,
Here
no
we
dice.
go. All right. It had to happen eventually. And will attack again with the claw. And that is a second natural 1 in a row. We are hot, baby.
Get those out of the way while you can.
Yeah,
Right?
That's how probability works.
All right, and that's gonna be back to this other ghoul, the one remaining, who is going to strike at the Festrog. Jaws attack, natural 20
That'll do.
Boo.
for 6 damage. What's the Festrog looking at?
What do you mean what's Festrog looking at?
What's the current HP after the 6 damage?
12. None of your business, actually, Freeman.
I've adjusted your token, douchebag. And I think the ghoul is going to retreat back spots Lady Gilda, and then will attack her with a claw. 21 to hit.
That is a hit, but I will use my reactive shield reaction to make my AC a 22.
Damn.
Cool. More like fool.
Oh boy.
Grail continues to feast, not really having the opportunity to attack, and not really all that interested at the moment. Lady Gilda, what do you got?
She is just gonna try and finish this thing off. First action is a strike with Le Hand Wraps. That is a 17 to hit.
Also, as French listeners.
The hand traps. 17 hits.
13 points of bludgeoning and 1 point of positive energy.
All right, and that's 1 point more than hit points that it had. So
Oh, perfect.
it did,
Rock'em sock'em Lady Gilda over here.
and that ends the combat.
So you're just got a soundboard of movie effects now, do you?
Oh no,
A little bit.
James figured out how to put the Wilhelm scream in.
As long as you can get the standard creaky door opening sound in every movie as well, I'll be happy.
I'm sure I can. I don't have it queued up. I've got very few queued up at the moment.
All right, so yeah, combat's done. It got a little hairy earlier, and then surprised these three ghouls, but he handled it pretty well considering the tight quarters. And you have a moment to breathe. What do you want to do?
Gilda's immediately going to enter this hallway to try and just to make sure that they're now free of this presence of ghouls.
Sure. Yeah, you take a look in the room there that they came from, and it's basically a room like just filled with three plain beds, awkwardly stacked against the west wall of the room, and leaving room for a single low table heaped with foul-smelling chunks of flesh and bone. It's like a little bunk room, essentially, where they rest and feast.
Tulok walks back towards the set of rooms, and as he's approaching, the Festrog just decides to not sustain. And as he's approaching, the Festrog just slumps to the floor as he steps over it, and his one eye returns.
So creepy.
Physics gonna follow him and very gingerly step over the now de-animated corpse. Walk up to Shad, seeing that he's quite injured, and perform a treat wounds on him. If we've got the 10 minutes, I guess.
Go to town.
That's a nat 20, baby.
Oh, man.
Ooh.
Talking, your first roll was a 15 this episode, and now you got a 20? Oh, man.
That's how probability works. I'm on a roll. I will never lose at gambling this way. Okay, just to get back to reality, that's 7 HP back from a
Okay.
2d8 roll.
That nearly puts him at max, so
No, it doesn't. I already gave him the 7 back.
my bad.
So he's still middling, but he's better than half. Gilda could use a little hit though if you've got it to spare.
The well runs deep, my friend.
And Shad is just going to investigate some of these rooms while they're doing that.
Okay, I don't really want to talk about what the roll for this was.
Classic.
How much HP do I lose? Just tell me.
No, it was a 14. It was just
Okay.
You
just
can always
barely
aid,
a
though,
miss.
see if you can get that +1 to it, and then I'll let it slide.
Gilda can aid.
Gilda can aid, yeah. Just give it a go.
You rolled crafting, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's like one of my worst skills. That's a 19 plus 4 is a 23.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, you can get a little heal there. That puts you at 15.
3 HP back.
Nice.
Yep. That's the physic we know and love.
Loving it.
So Shad is investigating this room over yonder.
Okay.
That is west for the listeners.
Gilda will
It's-
refocus.
So as a non-GM, it has been a little different for me to try to play an extra character all the time, and even though it's literally one and it's been the same one every time, but I realize that I, as a Festrog, have diseased pustules that I keep forgetting about.
Oh.
So when I get attacked and take damage from piercing or slashing, the creatures adjacent to me take 1d4 poison damage with a basic reflex save. And I keep fucking forgetting that. So
Keep
next
all
forgetting
the
time,
creatures
because
next to you.
normally it's us fighting against or fighting side by side with the Festrog.
yes, well, things to keep in mind.
Yeah, I mean that wouldn't have probably would. What is it? A reflex save for what?
1d4 poison damage.
Oh, okay. I thought it was gonna be like disease or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's.
I
Oh,
definitely would have taken that.
Yeah, I have to keep honest about that now.
I like to think that my Festrog has a live, laugh, love tattoo on his wrist.
Right on his pustules.
He's got a dove on his lower back.
Yeah, you know it.
You sure it's not dead laugh love?
Oof. Sheesh.
I mean, grammatically, it would have been die, laugh, love. Like,
It's weird that Freeman got canceled over such a bad joke, but it happened.
it wasn't even offensive. It was just that bad.
It's just that bad. Yeah. But at least I'm not as bad as bad.
R.I.P.
Your creation. Got it.
R.I.P.
Rest in power.
So Shad is investigating this small room beyond the room where the tattoo artist was. Which, by the way, I want to remind you that room where the tattoo artist was, it's covered. It's like there's just swaths of flesh all over the room that are all tattooed. And on the desk itself, there's like this big piece of flesh that has like an unfinished depiction of like a female form, half completed image of a sinister woman, as it was how it was described. So Shad steps into this small room, and it's like a little office. There's a desk in there, but it's clearly been repurposed as a messy butcher's block. A shiny silver hatchet is wedged in the top of the desk, and bits of decaying pale flesh lie strewn about the entire room. There is a small single door to the south as well.
And Shad opens that little tiny door to the south behind the workbench.
He cracks that door, and he sees a slightly larger room is filled with heaps of slowly decaying bodies hung and stacked. Basically looks like a former bedroom, and is currently being used as some sort of horrible meat locker. It's quite disgusting.
Did anyone search the tattooer's body? Because if they didn't, I would like to.
No, Guild is just clearing the area before she starts investigating anything, as is Shad.
Yeah, the tattooer did not have any, tattoo like supplies and tools, but no, nothing else in particular.
As Shad goes to perception check on the south door, Gilda will investigate the hatchet on the table, the shiny one.
Okay, roll me a crafting check, real quick.
Isaac, you want to get in here for a second?
Well, right away. And he will get to the door and just get staggered by, like, looking around the corner at the pile of bodies and everything. It's kind of like retching his mouth.
Oh, it's disgusting.
Yeah, Freeman, can you tell us what it smells like in this area?
I've not been around a whole lot of decaying flesh, so
We walked by a beached humpback whale that had been there for 3 days when we did the West Coast Trail. And I imagine it smells something like that. Like for a kilometer in either direction, you can smell the rancidity.
yeah, it's bad. It's real bad. You ever had like beef or chicken go bad in your fridge? Like imagine that times 1,000, and it's in a tight quarters all around you. It's just like stinging your nostrils. It's
There's
horrible.
thick with it.
Yeah, it just makes you feel ill. Yeah.
Okay. So while recovering from retching, he will turn his attention towards the hatchet.
Gilda closes the door.
Yeah. Okay. You want to aid, or you want to roll your own crafting check?
Donate, roll your own.
Oh yeah, no, I'm going to roll my own for sure.
Oh, you said donate,
Donate.
and then roll
Do
your
not
own.
aid, please.
A Go Craft Me account has just been created. That's a 25 on the crafting check.
Oh yeah, okay. So you can immediately tell it's a +1 hatchet, but Physic recognizes that it is also made of a low-grade silver.
Okay.
Oh,
+1 low-grade silver hatchet.
the old sterling wood chopper.
Did you want it, Physic? Do you need a melee weapon? And Shad rolled a perception check on this door.
Okay, south of the room with the tattooed flesh, and here's nothing.
While they're kind of talking back and forth about the axe, Tulok just peeks over his shoulder and says, "If you need, I can put it in the bag of holding if no one needs it now. Just to stay light."
I'll take it.
And yeah, all I've got right now is a short sword, so I might as well have it. Or actually, sorry, let me double check this. It's not a martial weapon, is it? Yeah, it is. No, I can't use it. It's a martial weapon.
Oh, it is a martial weapon. Really? Weird. Okay.
I mean, it's worth 79 gold, so... so Physical pick it up and just kind of like heft it in his hands and drop it completely on the floor, like, better put in the bag of holding.
I'll take it. My ranged weapon is a dagger, so
There you go.
this will at least increase it from 1d4 to 1d6.
Plus, it's made of silver in case, you know.
In case of vampires.
Vampires, werewolves, any of the underworlds saga.
As you guys are exploring a little bit, investigating, Shad's looking at this door, and Augrael kind of takes a break from feasting on the tattooist. He's like,
There's lots of delicious flesh in here. This is great.
There's some heavy metals in those inks, buddy. You gotta be careful.
I'll be fine. Disease doesn't affect me now. Now that disease has taken me.
Well, Augrael, we do thank you for your help in that combat. I was very worried at first, but you seem to have come to our aid yet again. So I hope that this flesh can be some sort of payment for you.
Yes, Augra will eat, and Augra will read. It is a good life now.
And if you're real hungry, there is a meat locker back here that, don't go out of your way to deal with it, but it's there for you whenever you'd like to make it.
Is it fresh, or is it decayed?
She opens the door again.
Delicious.
She closes the door again and tries not to dry heave into her shield.
yeah. All right. What do you got next?
Did Shad hear anything at the door?
Nothing.
Defend. Open. Bloody hell.
Very long stretch of 5-foot wide hallway. Goes about 30 feet to another door to the south.
Tulok turns to Lady Gilda and says, "Lady Gilda, please be careful. This seems rather fishy to me. I don't know why, but just if you move forward, do it with care. Perhaps Shad should go first.
What?
Shad, if you wouldn't mind checking for traps down this rather suspect-looking hallway, it would put my mind at ease."
Right. Can do. Master Tulok. Sure thing.
That is a +2 to that roll to find traps.
He rolled very high and does not find anything.
Feel like you're being a dick, but this is one of those private rolls in Foundry, listeners, where we don't actually know what we rolled. And he will hopefully carry over that extra high roll to listen at yonder door.
He has a listen and hears nothing. And at this point, also smells nothing away from the disgusting decayed flesh. I'd say it's kind of fresh. Hears, smells, sees nothing.
What temperature is it? Immerse
I was
me.
actually looking up the other day how warm it might get the lower you get below the surface. And it turns out that as deep as you can possibly go in this dungeon, the temperature shouldn't really be any different from the surface.
Not even
Which
cooler?
I was surprised by. I was actually quite surprised by. I
It
looked
has to
up
get
how
cooler
warm
first.
caves get. I looked at how you would think it would get a bit cooler as well. But you have to go exceptionally deep for the Earth's heat to actually start to affect a cave.
Yeah,
Like,
but
really
it's
deep.
cold first.
But this is literally a cellar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would get a bit cold. I didn't say it was the same as the surface. It's just not much different. It's
But what about when we encounter the fires of hell?
Yeah.
A balmy 10.
A balmy 10.
That's
I mean,
Celsius.
that's how I feel
listeners.
about 10.
The only thing cold down here is your research skills, Barn.
Okay, taking the defend action. Shad will avoid notice.
Tulok as well kind of slinks down and is avoiding notice.
Okay.
And Physic behind him has drawn his crossbow and loaded it all the way at the
Okay.
back.
I love this. We're in this long 5-foot hallway. Gilda's in the front, standing tall, shield raised, lit gauntlet, or lit hand wraps ready to go. She's about to punch open this door, and everybody else is just hunkered down behind this like 5'6" woman.
It is such a height, or such a sight. Yeah, it's great.
Gilda's
I like
only
to imagine-
5'6". I was picturing her as like Brienne of Tarth. Is that what her name was in?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That show that everybody forgot about.
After the final season was complete garbage.
No, it was so good.
What show are you fucking talking about?
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Don't worry about it.
Oh, she opens the door.
Okay. She cracks the door and she finds a plain circular room that is empty, save for a single image of a moss-caked skull that adorns the eastern wall. If you zoom in, too, you can see it on the map. There's like a little thing on the eastern side. It's kind of awesome.
Props to
Great map.
Narky.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. Yeah, it is very faint. And this room is like barely wider than the 5 feet hallway, but it is
Yeah.
circular.
Can I do a quick check on the skull for Nimbeloth?
Sure. Yeah, roll me a religion check.
Knowledge Nimbeloth. That's a 12.
I mean, 12's not much, but you already have an idea of the mossy skull being related, so you have no reason to think it's not. That's for sure.
Is it like sinister looking? Can you describe the impression I get from it?
Yeah, it's like a carve. It's including the moss is just carved into the wall. It's carved into the stone. So like this room is clearly like smoothly carved in around the rock, and then this is the one thing that was clearly given a little bit of extra effort. It just sits there, but it's a part of the wall.
Okay. She will step into the room.
Tulok follows, and as he enters the room, he would like to look about and just search the room for secret doors, and especially focusing on the skull, just if there's anything about it.
Cool. So you're just like looking at it, or are you going up and what are you doing exactly?
Inspecting it.
Inspecting it. Okay.
I really feel like this room's a trap.
I do as well.
There's nothing that stands out as a movable piece. It is just perfectly carved into the wall. Are you like running your fingers along it or anything, or like you just like eyeing it?
Yeah, no, he's looking to see if it's a trapdoor or...
So you are like physically inspecting it. Okay.
Yeah, let's go with that.
So you go over and you take a look at it, and you're like looking around. You're like, does the jaw move? Does anything look? And you're like, I can't really tell from looking at it. And you grab it and you start to touch it, and suddenly, the ceiling above you starts to come down. Grrr, there's this grinding noise, and it comes down very slowly over your heads. And there's just like this grinding of stone against stone. And it's coming down on top of both you and Gilda.
You guys ever see the movie Debs?
Never heard of it.
Okay, it's one of my favorite movies. It's a really like early 2000s like female spy parody movie. Michael Clark Duncan's in it. Megan Good is in it. And in one
Okay.
scene, they run into this bank vault, and it's all empty. There's no guards. The money's all been gone, and Megan Good's just like, it's a trap. I'm like, no, I'm team leader. And then she orders them into the vault, and the spikes come out of the vault, and Devin Aoki just looks at Megan Good. Megan Good lights up a cigarette. She's like, trap. That's how Gilda feels right now. What she is going to do about it, though, is raise her shield to the sky, brace it with her second arm, and tell everybody to fucking get through here quick.
Tulok will, listening to Lady Gilda, try to sneak past her and, without even listening, attempts to open the door.
Okay.
And without checking for traps, because he is frightened.
Okay. So you beeline it to this past Lady Gilda, who's like probably steps aside a bit
Yeah.
with their shield raised.
Everybody through now! Quick!
Is it locked or trapped?
You said you're not checking, but it's not locked.
Okay, so he opens it and moves through.
You crack it. It's a 10-foot long hallway that leads to another door.
Okay, knowing that all 4 of them will not fit in that hallway, he busts through that one as well.
Okay. And he cracks the door to a 15 by 10 foot room. Has a large mound of gray soil that lies heaped in the southern half of the room, and 2 large purple mushrooms with crater-filled caps stand out from the bed of soil.
I would like to reaffirm that he is, as he comes through into that room, would like to continue avoiding notice.
Okay. Shad, I assume, is on Tulak's heels, and Physic.
Oh yeah, right behind them, scampering quite hurriedly. Pulling right behind Shad.
Okay, Tulak steps into the room, giving a little room. Shad steps in. Physic behind, giving just barely enough room for Lady Gilda to step into the hallway.
Very glad she's not being crushed by the ceiling.
And by the time she steps into the hallway, it's coming pretty close. And as it's coming down, you quickly see that the ceiling that's coming down is clearly, it's not very thick, maybe less than a foot thick. And you can immediately see above it, like it's like this disc that's coming down, around this circular room, as if it's coming down to be a new, floor almost. But as you make this realization, the 2 large purple mushrooms in this room are going to lash out. And we're going to roll for initiative.
Ooh, baby.
Oh, meow.
I love mushroom monsters.
As we were walking through the hallway, I realized that I didn't heal up after that last fight. I'm not down a lot, but more than none. So,
More
Okay.
than none.
Gonna go ahead and probably not use the crossbow too much then.
Let's get us some initiative. Let's start with Lady Gilda.
Gilda finally making way on the initiatives here with a 20.
Okay, not too bad. You want to roll Shad while you're at it?
Yeah, Shad did the opposite of good with a natural 1 for a 9.
Oh, nice. Okay. And let's get Tulak since he's first in the room.
ooh, Tulak as well. Terrible roll. 11.
Okay, not so great. And Physic?
Physic also not too into this with a 10.
Okie dokie. Let me just make sure I've given a little love to our in-game clock here. And let's start at the top of the order with Lady Gilda. At the back of the line.
Yeah. Sorry, listeners. I am thinking,
Oh boy.
and I'm not doing
You
it
can't
very
really
efficiently.
see what's going on ahead too much, so
Yeah.
positioning is tight here.
I feel like she could probably see the one in front of Shad lashing out, or like Shad's reaction to it lashing out, if that's okay by you.
I mean, yeah, you see a reaction for sure. You just don't quite see the space and what's happening, what's doing it.
Right. And is it difficult terrain to move through my allies' squares? It's been a long time.
No, not unless I specify, I guess. But I don't think generally it is.
All right. It's just been forever since I haven't
Yeah.
been at the front of the line. She will stride, so she is now standing directly between these two things, which is a terrible life decision.
I like the idea of you're seeing the thing coming down, and then you turn, you see everyone reacting, you're like, out of the way, just like shoving everyone aside.
Yeah.
Let me get in front. You get into the room, you see the only space available is between these 2 big purple mushrooms, these tendrils that are now coming out of these craters on its head, top. What do you call the top of a mushroom? Is there a word for that?
Cap.
Thank you. Can't get it. Cool. All right, so you step in.
Second action will be to raise her shield because she is in a tight spot. And third action, she will reach out and punch the one next to Shad.
You may notice I've finally coded the tokens here, so blue versus green.
Yeah, that's very kind of you. The only thing Roll20 has over Foundry. Literally the only thing.
You add a little color icon to it, yeah.
That is a 22 to hit.
That will definitely hit. Yep.
Okay, that is 7 points of bludgeoning
Bludgeoning.
and 2 points of positive energy. Or positive damage. I'm never in my life gonna get that right, listeners. So, and that's her turn.
Too many years of 5e on that one.
And 1e.
Yeah. Okay. So, first up is going to be the Eastern Mushroom, who is going to first lash out at Tulok. Natural 1.
Yes.
Then it's going to attack again for a 20.
I will use
Okay.
my retributive strike
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
to give Tulok a 5 points of DR against this.
Okay. It rolls 12 damage,
Okay.
which is bludgeoning. So take 5 off of that, so 7 total. And I need a fortitude, please.
Coming right up. That is an 11.
Okay. You have been poisoned with something called Violet Rot. You take 3 poison damage and are enfeebled 1.
Holy fuck, that happened fast. Okay. And that
And
is
it's-
a 20 to hit this creature.
Okay, that'll hit. All right, that's part of your goddamn thing. It's awesome.
Yeah, and that is 8 points of bludgeoning and 3 points of positive.
Amazing. And it's going to strike a third time. It's a stationary thing. But 11 to hit misses. And it is the next mushroom's turn, which is now going to target Shad. The first 2 people in the room. That's what I'm going for right now. Oh boy, that's a natural 20. For 20 bludgeoning.
And Shad's down.
Shad's down.
Ooh.
Next attack is going to swing towards Tulok for a 15 to hit.
Miss.
And then the last one's going to swing at Lady Gilda for a 6 to hit.
Absolutely not.
Okay. I still need Shad to roll a fortitude save.
Oh,
That's bad news.
that's a 22, though.
Okay, that's good news. That's very good news. Okay, he's not poisoned. But he is down and dying 1. Tulok, it's your turn.
All right. Tulok leans towards Lady Gilda and touches her back and says, Lady Gilda, only you can save Shad, and casts guidance. And then following that, he snaps his finger, casting invisibility, and winks out of sight.
What? Oh my god, you're
So
a badass.
metal.
I
Wow.
hate your character. Guidance is 1 action, isn't it? Ah, son of a bitch. Okay.
And that's it.
+1 to attack rolls, perception, saving throws, and skill checks. Okay. Physic, you're up.
Well, seeing how quickly things kind of went to shit here, Physic's going to drop his crossbow and draw his healer's tools. How's Tulok looking for health? Pretty bad, huh?
Yeah. Like half health. But you can't see me.
No, I can't see him anyways. So, seeing Shad having gone down so quickly, he will perform a battle medicine on him right away. Fingers crossed. Oh, it's a 16, so it's a regular success.
Oh man. Okay. Roll that heal.
That's a 9 HP back.
Okay. He is now conscious. And no longer dying. But wounded and prone.
That's all you can hope for at a time like this. Third action, he will draw a lesser healer potion.
Okay. And that's going to bring us to Shad himself.
Shad is gonna crawl 10 feet into the hallway with his first 2 actions.
Okay. A 5-foot crawl for 2 actions.
Yeah, and his second action, he is going to stand up.
Okay. And that brings us to round 2 with Lady Gilda.
Yeah. Gilda is going to raise her shields. I am not selecting the right token. Second action, she will punch the one nearest to the doorway.
The one that took down Shad.
Yeah, and she will use the guidance on this strike. That is a 20 to hit.
That hits.
9 points of bludgeoning damage and 4 points of positive.
Okay.
Yeah, she's gonna do it again. Yeah, sorry, just looking through my action ability or my action economy, and none of it's particularly great. for this particular situation because she does not have survival really. So with a map -4, that is an 11 to hit.
No dice.
I'll use a hero point to reroll.
Okay.
16 to hit.
That hits.
Nice.
10 points of bludgeoning and 5 points of positive.
Okay. All right, you're taking some chunks out of this big purple mushroom.
They're not going down, boys. What do we know about them? Physic. Shad, how's your horticulture?
It's called mycology.
Yeah, I was to say, how's your mycology?
She didn't go to university. She's a soldier.
All right, so Western Fungus is going to lash out again at Tulok.
No.
Oh, Tulok's invisible, so it's going to have to be Lady Gilda.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And that's going to be a 27 to hit.
Oof.
I will use my reaction to shield block this.
Okay. It's not a crit, though, eh?
No, my AC is 22.
Yeah, okay, I thought so. All right, that's 9 damage.
Okay, so her and the shield both take 1.
Okay. And I need a fortitude, please.
That is a 25.
Okay, you're safe there. And it will continue to lash out at you for an 8 and then a 17. Miss.
Miss.
And the other one is going to do the same for the first strike. 15 to hit. But then it's going to whip a random tentacle out 10 feet away to Physic for 14 to hit.
That's a miss.
And then another one to Lady Evil for 14. So not doing so great on hitting you now. Tulok, you're invisible and you're up.
All right. First action pulls out a lesser healing potion. Second action is going to drink said potion, and will gain 12 hit points back.
Nice.
You like that? All right. And then with third action, will move to the west, and that is the end of his turn. Still invisible.
Still invisible. Physic.
Okay. Physic will recall knowledge on one of these here mushroom creatures.
Okay.
What do you want?
That's going to be a nature check.
Kind of figured.
Let me roll that up for you.
Nature. That's why we come up here.
Yeah, you know this to be a violet fungus. Pretty
Yeah, it is a
classic
violent
creature.
fungus. It's been attacking us this whole time.
Violet.
Okay.
Don't make me take your hero points away. They are of course they're just dangerous, stationary. They can sense tremors, so they can sense you guys coming into this room. And they have violet rot, which will continue to cause poison damage, enfeeble you, and then start to drain you. So it can affect your strength and your constitution. They are, perhaps most importantly to you, weak to fire. And I misspoke. I said they're stationary. They're technically not, but they move very slow.
Okay. Yeah, having known, having had this flash of insight about this mushroom, knowing it's weak against fire, he turns and grabs his crossbow again, which is directly under Shad. Will reload it with a bolt and will shout into the room like,
Stay away from those things.
Oh, you don't say.
I'm just trying to help.
and that's his turn.
Okay. Shad's up.
Shad will draw his crossbow, reload, and Fuego.
Okay.
That is a 13 to hit.
That's a miss.
Yeah, I imagine his hands are still shaking after getting the shit slapped out of him like that.
Yeah. Real hard. Okay, that's a draw and a shoot, or draw, load and shoot, is it?
Draw, load, and shoot, yeah.
Okay. Top of the round, 3, Lady Gilda.
Raise. Punch the one near the doorway.
Okay. Same one again.
That's a 12 to hit.
That's a miss.
And she will step back, trying to heed physics advice, but bumping into Tulok, trying to make her way for that door and stopping yonder.
Okay.
So she has now moved exactly 5 feet back and is still in range for both of these creatures.
Yes. I mean, you can't get out of range of these creatures unless you leave this room, essentially.
Yeah, I know.
It's very tight quarters. Violet Fungus number 1 on the western side. Going to continue its assault. And all it has is Lady Yellow as a target here. 22, you said your AC is?
It is, yes.
Swing, 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 miss, miss, miss. And the other one is going to do something similar here. And it's a swing, 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 miss, miss, miss. You are just like dancing that shield around.
Oh boy.
And for the listeners, that was not done in post.
And just playing with them here. Tulok, things are looking up. Ish?
Tulok reaches into a bag attached to his hip, although no one can see this, and produces a bone. And will use his cantrip bones. He is going to use, he takes one out and it crushes into his hand and turns into a ball of flame, and he reaches out, casting Produce Flame, and makes a attack against the one to his south. And
Nice.
that is going to be a 24 to hit.
That's a hit.
All right, and that is going to be max damage. That's 8 points of fire damage.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice.
And then
You only rolled a d4 there.
that is a d4 spell.
Oh, well, how is it 8 damage then?
+4, baby.
Oh, sorry. 4 plus 4.
Spellcasting modifier.
This
man.
is called mental math. Think of that when you're talking about muscle memory, baby.
I vaguely recall you telling us not that long ago that you're terrible at math.
So bad.
I just
so
assumed
bad.
you were wrong.
I'm sure he can handle anything under 10, though.
I don't know. It is Scoot.
As long as I got enough fingers.
And that was fire damage, you said, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it takes more than that.
I know. And then he casts guidance on Physique.
Do you need line of sight? You can't really see him.
I think guidance is touch, isn't it?
It is not, it is 30 feet.
Oh, that is a huge improvement from first edition.
And I am asking for guidance from above, and it says nothing.
Yeah, okay. It doesn't say anything about target in sight or that you can see, so I'll let it go.
And he whispers on the wind, Physic, help us with your healing now.
The old cellar wind.
Just stagnant air comes like slowly floating into his ears. Like, okay, I got it.
All right, Physic, what do you got?
First action will be to throw a little alchemist fire onto that crossbow bolt.
Okay.
Second action, fire directly southwards.
Third action, burn this mother down.
Oh god, I can only hope so. Okay, so Physic fires with a 17 to hit.
That hits.
That will be 3 piercing damage
Okay.
and 3 fire damage.
Okay, and it goes up in flames as the fire consumes it, and it is destroyed.
Thank you.
That's your turn?
No, third action. Third action would be to put another bolt at the ready.
All right, now it's Shad again.
So here's what I would like to do as Shad, and rule on this however you feel, GM. I would like to move past Physic, take the alchemist fire out of his crossbow, and throw it at the mushroom.
Oh.
Yeah, no. I'm sure you would like to. But not only is throwing a bomb a very specific proficiency, but once it's loaded in the crossbow, it cannot be recovered.
Okay.
Imagine, like, the way it loads in the crossbow, it's, like, set in a way that when he fires off the next 3 bolts, it, like, passes through the bomb and takes some of its, quality and essence and liquid away, and that's why it adds damage.
Yeah, I'd have to imagine it's like a little hopper on top of the crossbow
exactly.
that is just, like,
So
feeding
it's
a bunch of liquid
If you pull
into
that
it.
thing off, it probably just, like, spews all the shit everywhere, and it's not well designed because it even after a minute starts to drain itself out.
What if he free action drops his crossbow, grabs Physic loaded crossbow, and moves into the room? Free action drop, 1 action interact, 2nd action stride, 3rd action fire.
I
That's
mean,
pretty dope.
If Vizek doesn't fight it, I don't see why not.
Oh, if he gives it like a knowing nod and like a stern fatherly look at him, he's there for it, man.
Yeah, Shad like leapfrogs him, grabs the crossbow, slides in on his knees, and I don't have the attack, so I'm just gonna fire with his hand crossbow with an 18 to hit.
Okay, make sure you reduce one of your bolts there, Duncan, but 18 hits.
You want to roll the damage there, physics? I don't have access to it.
Yep. Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay, that's gonna be max damage for piercing 8,
Okay.
plus 1 fire damage.
Okay.
Perfect.
And it still
And
takes an
then
additional 5.
Shad's like leaning back, proffering the crossbow back up to you with like on his knees. So I'm gonna give him the prone condition because that only feels valid. But I love the idea of him being in like this power slide.
Oh my god, this is like the Clive Owen movie Shoot 'em Up.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's such a
exactly
great
where I got it
Totally
from.
over the top.
I love that movie so much.
Lady Gilda.
Gilda, not knowing what the fuck just happened, is going to raise and punch. Surprise. First punch is a 21 to hit.
That's a hit.
7 points of bludgeoning and 6 points of positive.
Okay, it did. Okay, I'm gonna do this, and I trust you, James, to track this, but I'm gonna give you a hero point, but it's only applicable to Shad.
Okay, got it.
Shad doesn't normally get hero points. I don't know if I ever established that. He does not get hero points. He's not a player, but James gets one for the for the ridiculousness, and and it can only be used for Shad.
And he's quickly becoming one of the most valuable members of the party.
What do you mean quickly? His first combat, he was better than all of us. He's been the best member of this
Oh my
party for a
God.
minute now.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
you've defeated the violet fungus, and not without some scars. And you take probably a deep breath here to establish what the hell has just happened. And you all level up.
Oh, shit.
Oh my goodness.
Hot damn.
And I mean, that's what we're gonna call it. We will talk and level up next episode.
Oh yeah.
Stemming the Tide is an actual play podcast of the Adventure Path Abomination Vaults and is produced by the Uncharted North Network. Stemming the Tide uses trademarks and/or copyrights owned by Paizo Inc., used under Paizo's community use policy. We are expressly prohibited from charging you to use or access this content. Stemming the Tide is not published, endorsed, or specifically approved by Paizo. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com. Music is composed by Will Savino and artwork by Greyhood. Stemming the Tide is recorded remotely using Foundry Virtual Tabletop. If you wish to connect with us or support this project and projects to come, we can be found at unchartednorth.ca, patreon.com/unchartednorth, and on all major social media platforms. Links to all credits can be found in the episode description and our website. Thanks for tuning in.